Well, let's get started. Good day, everyone. My name is Nara Salinas. I am from Chile, and today I want to talk to you guys about a very interesting country located in South America, a neighboring country of Chile, by the way. A country which you have probably already heard about, especially for its culture, gastronomy, and green landscapes. Let's play a little game, okay? Okay. Let's try to guess the country we're talking about. What comes to your minds if I say alpacas or llamas? Pisco, ceviche, Incas, and Machu Picchu? You know what country I'm talking about, right? Yes, I am talking about Peru. First, let's locate Peru on the map, okay? You can close your eyes and imagine what I'm saying if you want. So, visualize South America. The Pacific Ocean touches the entire coast to the west of Peru. And to the east, there are Bolivia and Brazil. To the north, they have Ecuador and Colombia. And finally, to the south, there is Chile, the native country of your truly. Peru's geographical location produces three different climates in the country. Tropical climate in the Amazon region, temperate climate on the coast, and dry climate in the smaller mountains. But as we get closer to the Andes Mountains range, the weather turns colder. Along with the climate, the geography of this country also favors that we can find here different natural resources. We can find a wide range of economic activities that are carried out in different sectors of the country. One of them is mining and oil extraction. In this place, gold, zinc, silver, and copper are mined, and Peru wins the first place as a gold producer in Latin America and ranks fifth worldwide. Very impressive, huh? We can also find here the cultivation of cotton and potatoes, and management of water resources, fishing, just to mention a few activities. Most of the Peruvian economic activities are teachings of its indigenous people, the Incas. And it is said that this civilization existed since the 12th century. That is between the years 1100 and 1200. A very ancient civilization, right? Well, we are going to stop at this topic later because it is a very interesting one. Activities such as llama and alpaca farming and the complex agricultural systems they created are used to this day by people who live in the fields. By the way, the peasants receive and help themselves with current technology, but they are very faithful to the traditions and they do everything with their own hands and with ancestral teachings. Well, like most of the indigenous peoples around the world. Let's go back to the topic of the Incas, okay? We could spend a lot of time talking about this civilization. It is one of the oldest in the American continent and one of the richest. Although they didn't have gold as a symbol of money. Metals such as silver and gold were considered by them as sacred metals instead of richness. And for that reason, they were brought to the emperor's temple because the emperor was considered as a son of the god Sun. And they believed that these metals belonged to him. Besides, we can speak of this culture as an empire because that is precisely what it was. Its territory extended from Colombia to the center of Chile. Amazing, right? The important thing here is that the place where this extensive empire was born was the city of Cusco. In Peru, there are the largest amounts of Inca archaeological remains. For this reason, Peru is one of the most recommended tourist destinations for foreigners. In addition to being, very economical and accessible to everyone. And that's another interesting point. I am not an expert in economics, so I could not explain you in detail why in this country most of the foreign currencies have more value in the market. But for example, in Chile we know that we do not need a large amount of money to have accommodation, food, and transportation in this country. Regarding the value of the currency, I can give you some examples so that we all understand the value of the Peruvian soles. So, $1 is almost 4 Peruvian soles, and 1,000 Chilean pesos is almost 5 Peruvian soles. This means that if we travel to Peru with $200, we will have around 700 Peruvian soles to enjoy our stay for at least 5 days. Eating in the best restaurants and staying in the best hotels in the area. And if we opt for something simpler, we can spend more days to stay. This includes food, transportation, and shopping, since the minimum salary in this country is 930 soles to live monthly. Okay, well, we have talked about many things so far, right? We talked about geography, economy, and mainly about Peru's past. But what about the present? How is Peru today? Well, how about we talk a little bit about politics? Peru is, as Article 43 of its constitution says, a democratic, social, independent, and sovereign republic. Its current president, Francisco Sagasti, was elected on November 17th in 2020, and his government should last 5 years. But due to the crisis, there will be presidential elections in July of this year. Peru has faced a political crisis in this last period. The Peruvian people have been protesting in the streets against their government, tired of corruption and inequality. The problems began in 2018 with the resignation of former President Pedro Pablo Kuczynski after being accused of corruption for dealing with suspicious Brazilian money. His successor, Martin Vizcarra, well, he was also accused of corruption in 2020. He was accused of receiving millionaire bribes in exchange for granting public works to companies when he was governor of the city of Moquegua, being dismissed a few months later. Well, in the month of September 2020, people were already protesting in the streets, tired of the corruption and being repressed by the Peruvian police. In November 2020, Manuel Merino assumes the presidency, and this person only managed to be just 5 days in power before submitting his resignation. Those 5 days were the most violent of the protest, leaving 2 young men dead. People alleged that Merino didn't represent them and demanded his resignation as he was not elected under democracy. Another problem is that the political and economic crisis is accompanied by the health crisis. Despite the fact that the interim government of Sagasti has implemented a high number of tests carried out and decreed the closure of the borders on time, it is the second country with the most infections in Latin America. Why? Because 70% of Peruvians work in commerce and live from day to day. Markets become sources of agglomerations, and a large part of the population in Peru doesn't have refrigerators. So they have to go out to buy food every day because they have nowhere to keep it. Well, definitely, these are very difficult times for Latin American countries. In addition to the global pandemic in which we are all trapped in, and the economic crisis that has brought us, people are protesting against the governors, demanding justice and equality. Well, visit Peru, guys. I totally recommend it. Seriously, yes. It's a very beautiful country, rich in landscapes, culture, history, gastronomy, and yeah, it's a pretty cool country. Okay, thank you all very much for listening. I had a great time with all of you, and I really hope it was the same for you guys. Otherwise, no one will call me here again. Well, thank you guys. Goodbye, everyone.